Morning guys, I hope you are all well. Apologies for the whispering, face asleep in the next room. I've just taken my check-in shots, which you'll see here. I'm very flat, which we knew. So the goal was to pull off as much fat as possible. And to do that, you do have to get quite flat to get fat. But we don't get too flat, and we are getting to that point now, as you can see by them check-in shots. So today and tomorrow is a refeed day, which I'm very excited about. It's amazing what food does to you when you're in a deficit. So we've got 550 grams of carbs today and tomorrow, so I'm very excited for that. Very hungry this morning. The rest day yesterday was 150 carbs, that's a difference. We did get a new low weigh-in of 170.6, I think, off the top of my head. You'll have seen it at the start of the video, so that's exciting. It means my body's doing what it needs to be doing. So it's another 2.2 pounds on average this week, which is good. As you saw, I've had my hydrations with a litre of water and 7 grams of HydroFlow, had my coffee, I weighed myself, had my vitamins. I've then done 3,000 steps on the indoor treadmill, and then drank more water. I tend to go for about 6 litres a day. I try and increase it even more on a refeed day because of the extra carbs. Carbs utilise the water, they pull it in. So what I'll do now is I've got 4 meals today instead of 5, because if you remember the last refeed video, it's less protein. So I want more highly bioavailable protein per meal. So 4 meals instead of 5, but I've still got an intra with 10 grams of EAA, so it's technically 5. But I'll show you that now. The first meal is very high in carbs because I want to get as many in as possible before I start training this afternoon. I want them to be digested and absorbed in my system. So I've still got a lot pre and post workout, but I've got even more now. So I'll show you that meal. So I'm very excited for that. I think that's it, guys. So like, comment, subscribe as always. And I'll catch you guys for meal number 1. Right guys, so we are here for meal number 1. It's looking amazing amongst the absolute mess of the kitchen. So ignore that. So we've got 2 bagels. One will be with bacon, hash brown, and some egg white. Ignore the mess. With ketchup. And then this one will have the absolute goat of jam. Best jam in the game. And we've also got 70 grams of these dates, which anyone in an off season is struggling to get healthy calories in, then medjool dates are the game changer. But like I said, this is very high in carb, easy to digest carbs, because I want them to be nice, digested, absorbed in my system in the next 2.5-3 hours, so I can enjoy meal 2, which is the pre-workout meal. I'm just trying to almost front load carbs as much as possible because I'm so depleted. I want to have a good session. It's normally legs today, but it won't be because my legs are still ruined from Tuesday, and I'll be training with someone next week on Saturday, and we're training legs. So I thought if we can get into the routine now, doing legs tomorrow instead, that'd be fine. So we're doing like a bit of a hybrid. We're doing my push and arm session, but without the biceps. But we're adding the abs from legs into that. So we're training that today, but I'll still show you the leg session that I'll be doing tomorrow, so that you're not watching the same session again and again. But anyway, I'm going to enjoy this a lot. We're going to watch Game of Thrones. That's why all the curtains are closed. Season 7, episode 3, I think. So it's the biggest episode of it, I suppose. It does go a bit cheesy after like season 6, but it's what it is. So we'll watch that and enjoy this, and I'll catch you guys for meal number 2. We've just been shopping because we're quite low, so I'm not going to go through everything because it's just your normal stuff. We went to Marks and Spencer's to get the fruit, and just strawberries and blueberries alone was $7.50, so they better be delicious. But my next meal will be had when I get home with my pre-workout oats, but I'm absolutely starving now. On the side of them oats, I was going to have 3 of them. So the absolute go of rice cakes. So I'll have 3 of them now, which is about 150 calories, and then I'll get home and show you meal number 2, or the rest of it, which will be the oats. So stay tuned for that. Has anyone noticed how zombie-like people are in shops in the day? Like, I understand some people are unwell, and that's fair enough and that sort of thing. But everyone's an absolute zombie. It's nuts. And then if you go to Marks and Spencer's, to make it even worse, they're all rude about it as well. They're all not really nice people. So if you shop there, then you're not a nice person. Right, so we're back from the shop, and them rice cakes were absolutely devoured. They were devoured in about 4 seconds. I noticed that with meal 1 as well. I ate that in less than 2 minutes as well. But what I find is now that I've reintroduced carbs to that extent, I'm actually hungrier, not less hungry. So like that first meal, I ate it. I could have eaten more, obviously I didn't. But like an hour later, I was starving again. I think it's just that insulin spike following the sugar spike. So this meal is oats. It's 100 grams of oats instead of 60 grams of oats because more carbs. Usually I do a 6-to-1 ratio of water, but I did a 5-to-1 because I don't want to dilute the protein powder so much that I can't taste it very well. The reason why I kept it oats instead of doing something like cream of rice, because obviously the extra fibre might interfere with training, is purely because I got so hungry after that first meal. I don't want to be getting that in the gym while training. That'd be shit. So this meal is 100 grams of oats. It's still got 10 grams of dark chocolate and 10 grams of peanut butter. Again, that's just to slow down the digestion throughout the workout so I don't get hungry throughout the workout. I will put all the macros in that about here. And then for my intra workout, I have got 10 grams of EAAs and I think it's 20 or 30 grams of cyclodextrin. But again, I'll stick it on the screen as well. But yeah, so this meal is 100 grams of oats, 10 grams of dark chocolate and peanut butter, a whole pink lady apple, which is about 120 grams. And I think that's it. I had the 3 rice cakes as well, which were a lifesaver because I was very grumpy after that. Pretty grumpy, wasn't I? Pretty grumpy after that. It's Faye in the background there. She's on a stool so that she looks taller than she is. She's doing something with the door number. So that's it. So I'll enjoy this in peace. We've got the electrician coming around at some point as well. These lights are still, I don't know if you can see them. It's one over there. Dangling down. It keeps pushing the day back, but what can you do? It's out of my power. So I'm going to eat this before he gets here and looks at me weirdly for talking to a camera. I'll catch you guys a pre-workout on the way to the gym. I'm doing push today, but obviously you guys will be watching legs, so you'll be seeing that before I even do it. The magic of technology, and I'll catch you for a post-workout meal, which again won't be a normal post-workout meal because of my appetite. So I'll see you guys for the next clip. I cannot explain how good that meal was. Like, I feel so much better. But yeah, the less water was definitely a trick in that, the 5-to-1. If I did 6-to-1, I wouldn't have tasted the whey, and the whey is what makes the flavour. But again, the calories are on there. It's chocolate orange whey for the form, because that is the best whey for oats, full stop. What I do is, I do it normally anyway if I can, is I'll try and get 10 to 15 minute steps in after each meal. Mainly just to hit my 13,000 steps a day goal. But secondly, it does help with digestion, especially when I'm eating meals that are way bigger than normal. For example, my first meal was the same amount of carbs as I had all day yesterday. So far today, I've had more carbs than I would on an entire training day. So this helps me digest. I also make sure to get at least, well, like I said, 6 litres of water in a day. So I'll get about a litre in between each meal. So I try and get about 4 litres in before I start training, just to make sure I'm fully hydrated. And then I salt each meal. So that meal, that oats that you just saw me make, has about half a gram of salt in it. Obviously the meal wanted bacon in it, which is very salty. And the first litre of water had the hydration formula in it anyway. So to make sure I'm hydrated. And my intra workout is a litre. It's 20 grams of cyclodextrin today, 10 grams of EAAs, and then a gram of salt and a gram of low salt, just again for hydration. And then also bring in a bottle of water as well, just in case I need the extra. And then pre-workout today, well, I'll show you pre-workout on the way to the gym. That's it. Not a very happy cat. I'll catch you guys on the way to the gym. Yeah?
Yeah.
As I was saying, if any replacement girlfriends want to be a camera woman, just let me know. You're trying your best, aren't you? Jesus fucking Christ.
You're in the middle, you're in the middle.
Yeah, okay, but you like rotating it.
Well, you know.
Everyone's going to see me spinning around now like one of them PowerPoint gifs. So, on the way to the gym now, struggling, started to slip again. On the way to the gym now, I've got that weird looking blue concoction. So I've got half a scoop of Conviction by Conte, which is about 175 caffeine, and then I've got a scoop of Naughty Boy Sick Pump again because I've got loads of it. So that's a lot of beta-alanine, so I'm sure I feel that. But the caffeine's still quite high. My appetite is still quite high despite having what I've had so far. Pushing arms on the cars today with abs and calves, so I don't have to do it on leg day. But I'll explain why when you see the leg day. So that'll be it. So I'll catch all you for the post-workout meal, which I've already made, but I'll see you when. So I'll catch you guys for the next meal. So I'm on my own again. She's gone to work now. She works at 1. She works in the gym, so there you go. So I'm sipping on this. I thought I'd wait in the car and sip this. So it is push today. And even though I've had 2 higher carb meals, I've still got to remind myself, and it's the same with you guys if you ever refeed yourself. On the first day of a refeed, you're unlikely to notice much of a performance benefit. Like, you'll have more energy, you'll feel better in yourself, you might be less or more satiated, but you'll just have less cravings for crap. I do have way more energy than I did yesterday, but it's also noticing that I've only realistically had 2 meals, and between them both the same amount of carbs that I would have on a training day, like I said before. So I've actually not had that many more carbs than normal, so it's not like our body's gonna be full of glycogen and ready to go. So bear that in mind. So it's basically what I'm saying is train hard like you normally would during a refeed day, but just don't expect stupid progressions because you probably won't get any.
any more than you would normally. The benefit of the refeed is obviously that post-workout I'll have more carbs. So that means going into tomorrow's session, I'll have a lot more carbs in my system, especially after a big pre-workout meal again tomorrow. And then by Sunday, after back-to-back repeat days, when I'll be the fullest. And that'll be when I'm training pull on Sunday. So it's always quite fun when you're full of carbs, because that'll be 1,100 carbs by then. And then we'll go straight back into deficit. So I'll feel that, I'm sure. You always feel deficit more after you actually go into a refeed. It's like your body's had a taste of normality. It starts firing again. It starts just performing better. You start moving more, twitching more, smiling more. So then for a few days after that, you do feel the hunger. But it is what it is. I'm going to go and train push. I'm going to stop waffling on about shit, because I always waffle on about shit. And I shall see you guys, genuinely this time, I shall see you guys for meal number 4 after you guys watch the leg day. See you in a bit. All right, guys, welcome to another voiceover. Similar to last time, I won't actually go over the full session because I haven't recorded the full session, and this isn't a workout video, it's more of a full day of eating on a refeed. The entire session will be in the description at the bottom for what I would usually do for legs. Like I said in the video, this is slightly modified just because I'm about to change things around over the weekend. So instead of starting with calves today, I have started with a hamstring curl. All the sets you see in the description and the video are taken to failure. And if I can and I feel up for it, I will do a few lengthened partials as well, but it depends on the exercise and how I'm feeling at this stage in prep. So with these seated curls, the reason I do these before the hack squats is mainly to warm up the knees, and because they don't take away from my compound work in terms of performance, so I might as well do them now. Whereas if I did these after the hack squats, I do find the hack squats impact these performance. So it's just playing whatever works well for you. As you saw in them hand curls, I do hold a 2-second pause in this shortened. That's only for the first set. The other 2 sets, I don't do that. I only hold it for a split second, just to keep the control. The reason for that 2-second pause is so I can make the most out of that shortened range when I'm fresh in the session, and I can get my hamstrings fully short. Following that, I'll move on to the hack squat. Again, this has now been moved down to 1 set just for recovery demands. When I was doing 2 sets, it was just taking away too much from the rest of the week. And I didn't want performance to start suffering week on week, which it was starting to get to that point where I just wasn't be able to recover in time for the next session. So it's 1 set, all out failure. Usually I'd like to have a spot just to get that 1 last rep, but today I didn't, and obviously I don't do lengthened partials in this sort of machine because I'd probably bust the knee trying to do so. On this, I do put my feet as low down the pad as possible. I recommend all you do that too. It might result in a little bit of heel elevation at the bottom, but as long as you feel safe and secure, then it's absolutely fine for a bit of heel elevation. If anything, it puts more emphasis on the quads, which is my main goal of this movement. If your feet go too far forward, you'll utilize more glutes and you won't get a full range of motion at the bottom. So more knee flexion equals more range of motion. Following that, I move on to this leg press. I do 2 sets on this. I do this top set here, where you can see the pads are positioned underneath and behind me, and that's just again to allow me to do as much range of motion as I can. Again, feet at the bottom of the pad to allow maximum knee flexion. As always, this set will also be to failure. The difference between the 2 sets on this is that the top set will be a lower rep range. For me, that's still quite high. It's about 8 to 15. So I don't want to go lower than 8 because it just risks injury, and I don't feel it on my quads as much as I should. And I don't want to go above 15 because my lungs then start becoming the limiting factor, which takes away from the quad work. The back off of this, I do a continuous rep set. So I do 12 to 20 reps without any stopping at the top. And that's just to train my body to get used to that massive strain on oxygen debt, to be honest with you. And it's also a bit of fun. Most of the work is done in this top set. Again, both sets to failure. Not all my exercises have been recorded today, which is why the full session is in the description below. This is an exercise that I don't usually do on my leg day. This is usually on my pull day, which is 2 days after my leg day. But obviously I have to change a few things around, so I put all my hamstring work onto this session. This is the only exercise I do across the week where I don't go to failure, and that's because my back is renowned for giving away and pulling or causing some sort of injury throughout a dieting phase. The dumbbell SLDL is the best exercise for me. If I use a barbell, there's more chance of injury. So the dumbbell's been best so far, and I really don't want to pull my back out during the prep. So that's why I don't go full all the way to failure, and that's why I stick to dumbbells, because it just allows me to keep the weight closer to my legs, which seems to put better emphasis away from my back and more into my hamstrings and glutes. But this is always 1 set no matter what. In the off season I will try deadlifting again, but I'll probably put one back, so we'll see how that goes. And then move on to the accessory work, which is literally these adductors here. This prime piece is really good for letting you choose the
range at which you want to challenge your muscle the most. At this point in the session, I am pretty bad, so I put most of the emphasis on the lengthened range because my ability to get short at this point is next to none. So I do 1 set on position 5, which if you have the prime piece, you'll know that's mid to lengthened range focus. And that allows me to get fully short with each rep before I hit failure, so I'm not having to do too many partials. Once I can't bring my knees together, I'll call this set a day, and that is my failure. On the other 2 sets, so the back off 2 sets, I'll put it on position 3, which is all the lengthened range. So that means it's heaviest at the lengthened range and quite light when I bring my knees together. And that's just to match, again, the fatigue. And similar to this set, it's all the way to failure as long as I can get my knees to basically touch each other. It's an absolute brutal machine. Adductor machines are quite rare in gyms because not many people use them, but they are a massive part of your leg growth. Your adductors are what makes your legs look 3D on stage, and someone like me who's got quite poor legs, I need to make the most of every single piece of equipment that I can. So if your gym has an adductor machine, make sure to use it. Make sure not to use your ego on it and just take it all the way there. Following that, I do a hip thrust. Today we've got this new booty builder machine, which is absolutely brilliant. I only do 1 set on this. This is what I usually do on a leg day. So even though I did dumbbell RDL today, I still did this as well. So I just had to take a bit of a hit on the reps. And what you want to do here is you want to keep your chin down into your chest, looking forward. You want to make sure you don't go too low. So many people try and get full range of motion by going all the way down here. But once you go past the point I go to, your glutes kind of come out of the equation. So once you feel that tension start to ease on your glutes, hold it for a second and then go all the way up again. And that's it, guys. So thank you very much for watching the voiceover. So we are back. That was a really good push day. Obviously I've got a lot more energy from the carbs, but I did notice towards the end it dwindled because there's really not that many more carbs than I would normally have by now. But just that general oomph. I did actually get a few progressions as well, which, like I said in the car before the training, didn't think I would. But as you can tell, the electrician's been, so the lights are all working, but it's a bit messy, so I'll go and clean all that after I eat this post-workout meal. On my session today, I also included calves and abs, because I usually do them on legs, but I've got legs tomorrow, and after legs I've got pull, where I usually do hams. So what I've done is I've pulled all the hams out of pull it all into legs. I then moved the biceps from today's session onto the pull day, and I've moved the calves and the abs from legs to today. So the volume's still even across. It just allows optimal recovery between sessions. So anyway, enough of waffling inside. Post-workout I've got, and this is a bit of a weird meal for many of you. It looks really bizarre. I call it cream of wheat. I think I copied it from someone else, I can't remember who. And all it is it's ground up flour. So if you just buy a bag of, let me show you. So if you just buy a bag of wholemeal flour, again, you can use white flour if you're in off season. So I use 100 grams of that with 10 grams of cocoa powder, 30 grams of whey, and then I use 130 grams of banana. So it's just 2 small 60-gram bananas. It's actually 150 grams today. And what you do is use a little hand blender, blend it all together into absolute mush. You have to microwave it for like 5 minutes, and then give it a mix. Another 3 minutes, give it a mix, and then another 2 minutes. So in total today it was like 10 minutes, and then it takes ages to cool down. So what I do is I make it pre-workout and then just heat it up afterwards. And what you get is you get this little crust. It's almost like this weird jelly cakey texture. Normally you want something easy to digest post-workout. High carb, low fat, lowish fibre. Reason being is your ability to uptake carbohydrates post-workout is elevated more than it will with the rest of the day. Your body's craving them carbs. However, how important that is really up for debate. I'm a bodybuilder. I train once a day besides cardio. So I'm not going to need them carbs in my system until I train, which is in 24 hours or tomorrow in the morning. So I'm not going to need an instant hit of carbs. Obviously it would be ideal, but I'm in a position where I'll digest this really well because I'm in a diet phase. My body just digests better. So as long as you're not all bloated after you eat, eating post-workout, you don't want that. But I don't want to eat this and then be starving in an hour and a half. I'd rather eat this with the fat still low, be quite full until my next meal in 3 or 4 hours. So I've got that meal anyway, and I've also got it with 1 bagel thin. I'll have that with some more of that jam. I've got 15 grams on 1 bagel and 10 grams of honey on the other bagel. So I'll show you the final product. That is the final meal. I changed my mind about the honey. The jam is so nice, and you get 15 grams of jam as opposed to 10 grams of honey for the same calories. So 30 grams of jam between them two, and then that cream of wheat, which, like I said, doesn't look that appetizing. It is quite nice. What I do find is in an off season it's really not that nice, but when you're dieting, anything's nice, and it's really healthy. It's got 11 grams of fibre in it, so if any of you are struggling to get fibre in on a lower carb diet, things like that and oats are your best friend. Anyway, I'm going to enjoy this weird concoction. All the ingredients and the macros will be on the screen anyway. Like I said, you just blend it all together and throw it in the microwave, and then that'll be that. So what I'll be doing after this is cleaning the house from the electrician, having a shower, and then getting some steps in for digestion. And then I think I've got to go and let my sister's cats out, something super exciting. And that'll be that. So I'll catch you guys for meal number 4. So I'm getting the last of my steps in now, outdoors. The downside to getting a walk-in treadmill is you start doing most of your steps inside with any excuse. So the weather today's been a little bit cold. It's not been too windy or rainy, I've just been lazy. So force myself out, get all these steps in now, and at least then when I get home I can just have my last meal and call it a night. So not much has happened since the last meal. It's literally just done some chores, had a shower, cleaned the house. I've had to go and sort out, my sister's gone away, so I've had to go and sort the cats out. And yeah, cats plural. And then I'll go and see my mother now. My dad's away. And then I'm hoping that tomorrow after legs, it'll just be me and Faye then, so we might go on like a date for the day or something. You'll notice when you live together, you just don't do that sort of thing as much anymore, so we'll force that. But I'm going to enjoy the rest of this walk. I'll catch you guys for meal number 5. So guys, back from my walk, back from seeing my family, and now we've got the final meal. So I don't know if you can see that. I'll just change the camera. So what we've got is, we've got 250 yogurt instead of 400. So it's very similar to my normal yogurt meal. Strawberries, blueberries, same amount as normal. But I've got 40 grams of granola on this. Obviously I have no granola normally, so that's just a tropical granola from Asda. And then 25 grams of honey underneath there, buried away somewhere. So the honey to yogurt ratio is obviously a lot more favourable. It's a lot sweeter, so I don't actually need the sweeteners in this one. And then I've got 2 camel rice cakes as well, just to keep the carbs up. And that'll be it. That's my last meal. Again, the quantities, the macros will all be on the screen now, and so all the daily totals. I pretty much hit them all spot on. Fat's a little bit high, carbs a little bit low, but they average out okay. I'm not too stringent if it's only a couple of grams here and there. So tomorrow is also a refeed as well. This last meal will be very similar. The first meal, because I'll be training after 1 meal, not 2 tomorrow, so that oatmeal you saw me as meal 2 will be my pre-workout meal tomorrow, but instead of oats it'll be cream of rice. But everything else is basically the same, just because I don't like to have a heavy stomach while training legs. Post-workout will be the bagels, which you saw for meal 1 today. And then meal 3 tomorrow will be a meal with Faye, so I'm thinking spaghetti bolognese or something. With a lot of pasta, but just keep the carbs high. Other than that, tomorrow, besides training, it's literally just a day for me and Faye, so I'll enjoy that. But that's it, that concludes the video. Hopefully you got some sort of meal ideas. Everything's pretty healthy, digest well. My fibre is 51 grams today. I'll make sure tomorrow it's a lot lower than that, just so I can digest it more easily without being bloated. I'm not bloated now, but I reckon if I did it again tomorrow I would be. I've got another refeed tomorrow, then I'm excited to see how I am on Sunday, and then back into a deficit. I feel like we're going to have more changes coming in soon, more food taken away, but that's part of prep. So as always, like, comment and subscribe. Let me know if you want to see anything in particular. I'll get some more training videos on as well. Otherwise, I shall see you guys in the next one.